Welcome to the SmartKeys podcast, where we deep dive into the resources you share to extract the actionable insights that keep you ahead. The focus today is on a really crucial document by Felix Römer, posted on January 24, 2026. It's called Zero-Party Data: Building Trust with Customer-Provided Insights.
Look, this couldn't be more timely. Third-party tracking it's dying fast.
It is.
So this ZPD playbook, it's not really optional anymore. It's basically the survival kit for any modern marketer.
It really hammers home that urgency. So our mission for this deep dive is all about shifting from, inferred guesswork to just market honesty.
Mm-hmm.
We need a clear roadmap on how to move past relying on those old decaying signals and start powering experiences using information customers willingly provide.
And the urgency is undeniable. It's because of the accelerating decay of third-party tracking.
Right.
Browsers, Safari, Firefox, now Chrome, they're all tightening their limits, which just cuts off those traditional signals that marketers always relied on.
So the old ways are just going away. This isn't a minor update. It's a fundamental change in how a brand and a customer relate to each other.
Absolutely. This material frames that sustainability challenge perfectly. The bottom line, really, is that any effective long-term marketing strategy has to be consent first.
Consent first.
And what's crucial to grasp here is that this trend isn't just about compliance or, ticking a regulatory box. It's about accuracy.
Yep.
When a customer voluntarily shares preferences, their intentions, you gain honest, high-fidelity information that fuels genuinely better personalization, and you do it without that creepy factor we all hate.
Yeah, the creepy factor. I think Forrester coined the term zero-party data, right? But let's get crystal clear on what that means compared to what we're used to.
So zero-party data, or ZPD, is information that is intentionally and proactively shared by a customer.
Okay, so it's explicit.
It's totally explicit. This includes choices in a preference center, stated purchase intentions like, I'm planning to buy a car in 6 months, and personal context about how they want you to recognize them. It's not assumed or observed, it's told.
Okay, let's unpack that, because the source argues that these intentional inputs create way more accurate personalization than inferred signals. Why is it so superior to just watching what people do?
Well, the document spends some good time on this because not all audience signals are equal.
Right.
Zero-party data is volunteered. So it has incredibly high accuracy and, of course, clear consent. The customer is literally telling you what they want.
But there's a catch.
There's always a catch. It requires a transparent and, frankly, a compelling value exchange to get it.
And then there's first-party data, which is what we see them do on our own site.
Exactly. First-party data behavioral signals like visits, purchases, time on page, that gives you recency and scale. It tells you what they did.
But not why.
But not why. And it takes time to build a robust profile from that.
So give me an example. If first-party data tells me you bought a new pair of sneakers, what does zero-party data add to that?
Okay, great question. First-party data knows you bought sneakers. ZPD knows you bought them because you just started marathon training and you need specific arch support.
Oh, interesting.
Or maybe you bought them as a gift for your spouse who runs ultra marathons. That distinction changes your entire marketing approach.
Right, you're not just retargeting with more sneakers.
Exactly. You're providing valuable content about training schedules, or maybe linking them to a loyalty program for high-mileage runners. It's a totally different conversation.
And that really illustrates the difference between intent and just observation. And then, of course, there's third-party data, which we're moving away from.
Right. It delivers reach, but it lacks exclusivity and is just plagued with accuracy and consent issues. So the actionable rule from the resource is pretty clear. Avoid heavy reliance on third-party lists.
So what's the new rule?
The new rule is to let customer-provided answers, the ZPD, set the intent, and then use your observed signals, your first-party data, to act at the right moment. That blend improves recommendations and keeps the brand trustworthy.
This whole shift, though, it hinges on clear permission and trust. So there has to be a transparent value exchange. But honestly, if every brand is asking for my data now, how do you cut through the noise?
That's a sharp question. The source is clear on this. You can't just ask. You have to communicate and deliver immediate value.
So what does that look like?
Meaningful incentives. Things like early access to sales, tailored content that's genuinely useful, or just simpler, less frustrating experiences. If a customer tells you their favorite color is green and the next email is green-themed.
You've closed the loop instantly.
Precisely. Ask clearly, offer clear value, and prove you respect their preferences. That's how you rebuild trust.
I appreciate that clarity on the value exchange. So let's move into the strategic side. If ZPD is about intent and that drives accuracy, how do we actually operationalize this trust? What's the business case?
Connecting it to the bigger picture, the business case for ZPD is really compelling. It's built on three pillars: personalization, trust, and compliance.
Okay, let's take personalization first. How does explicit input drive measurable results beyond just feeling good?
Well, the source notes that explicit inputs power way better product suggestions. That leads to higher click rates and, maybe more importantly, reduced returns.
Reduce returns. That's a real metric.
A huge one. If a customer tells you they only wear high-rise jeans and you show them mid-rise, that's friction. ZPD cuts that friction before the purchase even happens.
And that directly impacts the bottom line, which I guess speaks to the accuracy benefit too.
Exactly. Higher accuracy means cleaner profiles, which directly translates to cutting wasted ad spend and lifting campaign performance. You just stop showing people ads for things they already told you they don't want.
Right. And then compliance and trust.
And finally, compliance and trust. Collecting with consent supports privacy frameworks like GDPR and strengthens the brand's position as a respectful partner.
This is where it gets really interesting for me, the how-to. The text gives us clear phases. What are the measurable objectives we should be setting before we even think about building a quiz?
The first pillar is defining those objectives. You have to list measurable outcomes,
Like what?
like higher repeat purchases or getting product feedback or simply enriching personalization fields. The rule is tie every single question you ask to a downstream action.
So if a question doesn't trigger a valuable action...
Don't ask it. No data hoarding just for the sake of it. That's a huge problem for so many organizations.
Okay, so that's pillar one. What's two?
Pillar two is knowing your audience and mapping the moments. You have to identify where people will share information with the least friction.
High intent moments.
Exactly. Onboarding when they first sign up, during checkout, or loyalty touch points where they're already engaged. That's where the value exchange feels most natural.
And the final pillar must be the technical structure.
That's integration and protection. You need to audit your collection, make sure the ZPD inputs align with your marketing channels, and enforce governance. And, critically, prioritize easy opt-outs. It has to be as easy to withdraw consent as it was to give it.
You mentioned low-friction collection. What are the specific methods, the material highlights that customers actually seem to appreciate?
Yeah, the key is methods that feel helpful, not intrusive. So interactive quizzes, polls, short surveys, especially during onboarding or in an email.
And there's a trick to making those work, right?
There is. The resource highlights using adaptive questions. The answer to the first prompt shapes the next one. It makes the customer feel heard and keeps completion rates way higher.
I think we've all taken a quiz that felt like it was listening to you. You're much more likely to finish it.
Exactly. Then you have preference centers. This is where customers can just set the frequency, channels, topics, giving them full control, which is the ultimate driver of satisfaction.
What about later in the relationship?
Post-purchase feedback and loyalty programs are ideal for getting richer data because those customers expect a reward for sharing their thoughts.
So having the data is one thing, but using it is another. How do we map collection to activation so these insights power real-time experiences?
Activation means instantly using those inputs to trigger personalized content, emails, in-app messages, push notifications. The moment a customer chooses a preference, your platform needs to fire off a tailored journey. It can't wait 24 hours.
The text mentions a fun but really high-impact example from Max.
Yeah, it sounds lighthearted, but the results were serious. Max ran a What's Your Hogwarts House survey.
Okay.
Based on that one preference, they saw a 3.36% lift in viewership, and get this, a 6 times higher in-app message click rate.
Wow, 6 times. Just
from personalizing the outreach. That is an efficiency you simply cannot get with inferred behavioral data alone.
And beyond just communication, how does this stuff feed back into the company itself, like product strategy?
It feeds directly into product development. Customer-provided information reveals gaps in your offering. It helps guide the roadmap. When customers explicitly tell you, we need feature X, that moves it right to the top of the priority list. You're basically co-creating with your user.
Okay, so this brings up a huge question. How do we prove this is all working? What are the KPIs we should be tracking?
The resource offers some crucial KPIs. First, track your consent rate and your completion rate. This shows how well your ask is converting. A low completion rate tells you which questions might be too intrusive.
So it's feedback on the experience itself.
Exactly. Second, measure profile enrichment. You're literally counting how many meaningful, explicit attributes are added per customer over time.
And finally, the money.
And finally, the money. Engagement and revenue open rates, click rates, loyalty lift, and direct revenue from the personalized journeys triggered by ZPD.
And there are some fantastic case studies in here that really validate those metrics.
They really do. They should. This translates into serious business results. Share the Meal used simple in-app surveys to deliver personalized updates.
And the result?
A remarkable 114% increase in 1-month retention. That's loyalty driven purely by relevance.
And Gympass showed a direct revenue impact.
Gympass used targeted forms to achieve 3 times the sign-up volume, and it contributed 25% of net new revenue. This shows that high-fidelity DPD translates directly to massive tangible growth.
So for businesses looking to implement this,
Yeah.
what's the necessary tech stack? You mentioned a CDP earlier.
Right. You need core components, a configurable preference center, some lightweight survey tools. But the central nervous system is a CDP or a CEP, a customer engagement platform.
The glue that holds it all together.
It's the glue. It takes the quiz result and instantly tells your email program, your app, and your website what to show next. It orchestrates the whole thing without any lag.
So let's bring it all back together. What does this all mean for the modern business leader who's listening? It feels like the shift to ZPD isn't a temporary trend.
Yeah.
It's the new reality.
It is. It's driven by the consumer's desire for control and supported by stricter privacy rules. It moves marketing from inferred guesswork to explicit, permission-based value delivery. The final takeaway is that consent and a clear value exchange are now the core drivers of any lasting customer relationship.
A total mindset shift.
It is. We have to prioritize asking only the most valuable questions, map those answers directly to customer journeys, and activate the insights quickly. The roadmap is incredibly clear.
It's a strong operational playbook for the future.
And this requires one last thought. Since the goal is transparency and trust, we have to prioritize the customer experience even when they want to leave or change things.
Okay.
So our provocative thought for you, the listener, is this. How can your organization integrate easy opt-outs and simple updates to preferences, not as a regulatory burden, but as a genuine competitive advantage that strengthens loyalty?
Because making it easy to leave.
Actually proves you're trustworthy.
That's a powerful challenge to end on. That was a deep dive into zero-party data and the strategic playbook for thriving in a privacy-first world.
It's the sustainable future of building profitable customer relationships.
Thank you for tuning in to the SmartKeys podcast. If you want to review the full strategic guide by Felix Römer, you can find the link in the show notes right now. Make sure you subscribe to the SmartKeys podcast so you don't miss future deep dives designed to keep you informed and ahead of the curve. We'll be back soon with more actionable insights on the future of work, SaaS, and productivity strategies.